I'm joined today by Russell deCarle. Welcome to the Calgary Folk Club coming on October the 17th.
Thank you. Looking forward to it. Always look forward to coming to Calgary, and particularly look forward to coming to the Calgary Folk Club. It'll be my first time.
Exactly.
I
First time.
love that.
I was super excited to see you at a house concert south of here. Well, about a year ago, I guess.
Yeah.
Um, I think it was up close and personal, and I was like, we need to make this happen at the Folk Club. I did not hadn't really realized that you were doing, kind of smaller, more intimate concerts. I mean, I still have you kind of up on that stage with the Prairie Oyster in my brain, and I think maybe a lot of people have got you there still in their
Yeah.
head. Doing some
I,
really solo stuff.
yeah, I think that's true. I mean, I love the intimate stuff. I mean, I still do festivals and stuff as well, but I tell people, one thing about, this point in my career, I guess, in my life, getting to tell my own story is pretty great. I get to do a lot of original materials, original material, and some cover material that I do. I'm really emotionally connected to everything I do, which you aren't necessarily always in a band. It's kind of soul by proxy in some ways, working with a whole group of people, and I'm really proud of certainly my work with Prairie Oyster. But
Yeah.
again, at this point in my life, it's great to get to go out and tell my own story. And we play the same whether we play for 20 people or 20,000 people still. So it's yeah, wonderful to
Yeah.
be.
And you've got a couple of really hotshot players coming with you,
I,
welcoming Steve Briggs, and Russ Boswell. But you've been playing with these guys for a bit.
Quite a long time. Steve and I, Steve Briggs, a great guitarist, kind of in every bag, and I got a life changing phone call in 2003, I guess it was, by a promoter, a fellow by the name of Paul Merks, and he had seen me in a songwriting on a songwriting tour I was doing with, I guess, Bluebird North. And he caught me at Capilano College in Vancouver. And he said, "Man, I caught you there." He said, "I really love what you're doing. And I thought, I'm doing a tour with Merle Haggard, and I thought you'd be great as an opening act. And I just wonder if you'd like to do that." And I was just floored. Merle Haggard's always been one of absolutely, I felt that was probably the most important figure in modern country music, and his own body of work, and then turning people onto Bob Wilson and Texas Playboys, and Jimmy Rogers and Lefty Frizzell, and just an amazing guy. And so he's always been a huge influence on me. So I said, yeah, I'd love to do the tour. I said, do you want a band? Or he said, well, you could maybe bring along one other person. And I had met Steve, and I think we played a couple of songs together at some kind of a folk conference at one point. But I thought, I'm going to try this guy. I'd seen him play. I really liked his playing. I called his house, and his wife, Kristen, answered the phone, and he wasn't around, but she actually accepted the gig pretty much. I said, to Steve would like to come out to do a Merle Haggard tour with me, and she said yes. So I thought she either really wanted him out of the house, or she knew Steve was a huge Merle Haggard fan. Anyway, he ended up taking the gig. We did 13 shows in 14 days. Started in Vancouver, ended up in Ottawa, and really bonded in a huge way. We played a 20-minute set to open for Merle, but and I thought, Merle might be one of those guys that you just, boy, this is turning into a Merle Haggard to do, but I have to talk about this. He's such an influence. But, I thought he might be one of those guys. I worked with a lot of artists in the past where you never even get to meet them. They're
Yeah.
on the bus. They come do the show. Merle, as soon as we got there to the Queen of Victoria Theater in Vancouver, he was working the band and sound checking. He did that every day. He did about an hour and a half sound check. So we get to hang with those guys and play with them. And it came at a great point for me because I was really disenchanted with how the music business, particularly the country music business, we were starting to be like people. We had sold so many records and been so popular. And then we'd taken a few years kind of between albums, and we released our last record and could barely get arrested on this record. We were like, what's going on here? And then I went out with Merle. At that point he was 67 years old, singing better than he'd ever sung, and didn't use a set list, and no smoke and mirrors, and still better than anyone, writing as good as songs he'd ever written. And he couldn't get arrested on radio either. So I thought, okay, this is it. This is the guy. And I got to meet Steve and play, and that was 21 years ago, and we're still playing together, and having more fun than ever. We travel great together, we play great together, and yeah. Anyway, Steve's coming out with me, and then my buddy Russ Boswell, I've been playing with for a long time. And Russ, people may not recognize his name, but they've certainly heard him on record. He's played on hundreds of records. Great bass player, and sings a great third part, and a great travel companion, which is a lot of the deal, man.
Yeah. a band is like a marriage without the fringe benefits. Like
Well, truly, yeah, yeah,
it's it has to be. And I'm really excited to hear you say that you got another win because I mean after 6 Junos and umpteen country music awards, and that's kind of like what's left in the music business. But like you say, you mentioned Merle was singing better and writing better, and I've
yeah.
heard about yourself as well. And I certainly can attest when I heard you, I was just like, oh my gosh, your voice has just gotten more, I don't know, more honey, more whiskey. I don't know what it is, but it's just there's more of it, or maybe it's just because there's less band around it that it's more front and center. But I was just transfixed by your voice when
Thank
I,
you.
yeah.
Wow. Wow. Well, I'm having more fun than I've ever had. I feel like I'm singing better than I've ever had. And people say, I think you're singing better. Well, yeah, but it's an instrument and it's a learned thing. I learn from every gig I do. Every time I sing, every time I play, I learn something, and vocally as well. So yeah.
And your writing is strong, and like I was just, as I said, I was blown away, so excited.
Thank you.
I
Mm.
think you're going to love the audience just as much as the audience is going to love you because we pride ourselves on being a listening room, and they've got a lot to listen to for sure. October the 17th, Mallory Chipman is opening. Tickets are on sale. If you are in the Calgary area, join us at the Dalhousie Community Center. If you are not, good news is we live stream. So you can have Russell in your home for like a 3-day weekend. You can get the live stream wherever,
Wow.
and it's good till Monday night. So you can watch them like 3, 4, 5 times if you want to on the live, we call it live stream. It's really an online. It is live streamed on the Friday night, but it'll be fun to have you at the Calgary Folk Club, and I know that Alberta's kind of a second home for you. So
It truly is a second home for me. Since Oyster days, well, for 40 years, I guess, since 85 or 86, my first major tour out there with Oyster. And yeah, lots of great pals there. I'm really excited about this tour, and October's a nice time out there. And yeah,
weather's good there in the fall, as somebody once wrote it.
yeah, that rings a bell.
Well, we will see you then. Thanks for joining me today.
Oh, thank you so much. I'm really, truly, and this isn't just showbiz babble either. I'm really looking forward to coming out there and playing for you guys.
Perfect. Take care. Thanks for
Thank
joining.